everyone, it's Dr. Muso. Today we want to talk about the Ndebele state, but we want to talk about the social organization of the Ndebele state. The social organization, how their social organization was organized. Number one, we see that the Ndebele, they believed in a God. Unkulunkulu. So they believed in God, Unkulunkulu. So they worshipped God, they worshipped the Unkulunkulu, praising Him for the gift of life. So we see that God was so much worshipped in the Ndebele state, but they worshipped God using their ancestral spirits. So we also see them believing in the ancestral spirits which were called Amalozi. So these were the spirits that they to use to worship God. So they prayed to God through the Amalos, the ancestral spirits. These spirits, they were appeased time and again. Having said this now, we also see that number two, the Ndebele state now, they lived as a lineage. They lived as a lineage. People who used the same totem, they stayed together. So we see that they lived under this so-called social system. In this social system now, we see that we had a group called the Hole. The Hole were the Shona people whom the Ndebele found in Zimbabwe. They were the lowest group that was not given important responsibility in the state. We also had the Anther. We are talking about those people that the Ndebele absorbed when they were coming to Zimbabwe. We're talking about the Soto, we're talking about the Pedi, we're talking about the Tswana, the Rolong, the Tolwa people, those people who were incorporated into the Ndebele state. They were the second most important group in the society. Then at the top now, we see that we had the Zansi. The Zansi, these were the Ndebele, the original Kumalo people, the Ndebele people who came with Mzilikazi as he fled from Chaka. You remember Mzilikazi fled from Chaka from 1821 up to 1839, 1840 when he eventually arrived in Zimbabwe. Those Kumalo people who came with the Mzilikazi now, they were the most important group in the society. So they were known as the Zansi. So in their lineage now, we see that we have the Zansi, the Anther, and the Hole. So these were the people who were in the Ndebele state. Like what we have said, this was the most important group, followed by the Anther and the Hole. Marriages between these groups were not allowed. But although they were not allowed such marriages, we see that they were common in the Ndebele state. Number three, we also talk about culture. Different cultures were done in the Ndebele state. For example, ceremonies were conducted. You talk about the Inwala festival. The Inwala festival, it was the harvest of the first fruit, whereby they to thank their gods, they to thank their ancestors for providing adequate rainfall. So they celebrated the Inwala festival, and all the members in the community, the Shona people, the people from the Anther and the Zansi, they gathered celebrating the harvest of the first fruit. So different cultures were done, appeasing the spirits of the dead, doing different ceremonies, and we see that whenever these ceremonies were conducted, we see that the king, in some instances, he was invited and he presided over these incidents that were taking place, or over these ceremonies that were taking place in the society. Then number four, you talk about division of labor. Division of labor. Labor, it was divided according to sex. Men performed certain duties, women performed certain duties. We see that with social classes in the Ndebele state, the herders, the cultivators, the hunters, the gatherers, the cultivators, the traders. So different our classes were there in the Ndebele state, depending on what people did in the state. So in the social religious activities of the Ndebele state, we talk about their beliefs, we talk about they believed in God, ancestral spirits, we talk about lineage, in which they were divided into three important social classes. We also talk about culture, different ceremonies, cultures, activities that were done in the Ndebele state. Then eventually we talk about the issue of division of labor, in which labor was divided according to sex. Men doing specific duties, women doing specific duties. That is what we have on the social organization of the Ndebele state. Thank you so much. It's Dr. Muso.